Alrighty then, how's everybody doing? Welcome to George's Bad Movie Reviews. I decided to do a older movie, not a new one, but newer and older. I'm going to talk about Godzilla versus Kong. Now this one did some interesting things. I mean, two mythical giants from the history they brought onto the big screen because, in the 40s and 50s and 30s, King Kong was the big ape that saved, Marilyn Monroe from the big nasty airplanes and all that other stuff, and he was hanging off the Eiffel Tower, and they made all kinds of movies about, King Kong, which makes him such a good superhero for this flick. Now, Godzilla, the big lizard that saved Tokyo or destroyed Tokyo, based on their myths and lores there. They also did lots of movies over that one and all the other stuff. And the same kind of history for both of the creatures did a pretty good one. So this movie actually explored something that Hollywood's been exploring for years. The hollow earth theory that the earth is hollow inside and there's big large creatures like dinosaurs and King Kong and Godzilla living peacefully down in there. Now they did it with all kinds of creatures in it. They went a little deeper on the hollow earth with a man tapping in Sanctuary. I think it was the third season or the fourth season. They showed us a map and they figured out how to get into the hollow earth and they explored the whole area down in there. And now the question is Hollywood trying to bring us to a big reveal? Because back then in Sanctuary and in King Kong, Godzilla versus King Kong, they both explored the hollow earth. Now the version in King Kong wasn't a whole bunch of creatures in a big high-tech city down in there. It was just a field and lots of light from natural occurring places, which I didn't see how the light was transmitted in there, but it was light. They had a gravity well in this one, and it was really strange how they fell through the hole. After they went through the tunnel, they went down and fell through the hole towards the center of the earth in the hollow earth thing, and they had weird spaceships that'll actually transmit the gravity change when they got down in there. And the gravity flip. Now, in the earlier version of the hollow earth with the man tapping, they didn't have a gravity flip. But I imagine the technology that the hollow earth in that earlier version was probably preventing us from seeing the gravity flip if they're going the same direction. But this one, when King Kong and the humans followed in, they didn't have a gravity flip. Well, the gravity flip was weird, and King Kong, you show him almost passing out when he went through the gravity field. Because they show his face when he's falling. You have to watch the movie to see it. Early on in the theory, and King Kong was going down there looking for the rest of his family that had a house down in Hollow Earth, which turned out to be an interesting segue into the Hollow Earth. They explored it for a good 20 minutes part of this film, and it gave them a good segue to get from a lab in the U.S., get Kong from a lab in the U.S. into Hong Kong so they could have their Godzilla versus King Kong war in the streets of Hong Kong, like it would have been in the earlier days when King Kong and Godzilla first were introduced together. When they had the earlier films. But the Hollow Earth idea in King Kong turned out to be a pretty good, interesting segue, into revealing, if they are revealing, the Hollow Earth in real life, or, in theory. Again, because there's a lot of people that actually believe that the Hollow Earth actually exists and trying to prove it every day. Now, there was another movie that they did in the studios. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, that had the Hollow Earth too, Hollow Earth as well in it, and that was an exploration movie. I can't remember the name of it. I'll post it here on the screen if I can remember what it was. But King Kong went down there, found out where his family was, found the big axe that fit him, with power energy from the earth. That's probably how they got their light, where they powered up the axe in King Kong's family's home, and he was beating up and destroying all kinds of creatures that we saw on Hollow Earth, with Amanda Tapping too. They were all there, but they were more wild. Maybe it's just a different section of the Hollow Earth that they were exploring. I don't know, but some of the creatures, the three-legged, winged snake thing, they had that there. A couple other snakes that were in Hollow Earth were there, similar. Little dragon-type snakes, like the mythical Chinese dragon snake thing, or it's a snake with wings and legs, like a chicken. But they had all that in there, which, kind of makes it interesting if the Hollow Earth theory is just science fiction, or if they're going to bring that out as real life. But anyway, the Godzilla realized after he charged up his weapon that he was down in Hollow Earth when he was in Hong Kong, so he used his laser breath, I guess you want to call it, his laser coming out of his mouth, to bore a hole all the way down into Hollow Earth and get Kong's attention to come bring up. So like a big ape that had him beat and roar and beat his chest, and he got pissed because Godzilla was there, because they were mortal enemies. Then, they went up and started their fight, and then at the end they had some kind of robot thing that both of them teamed up together to defeat, because neither one of them could defeat it by themselves. They had to work together. Everybody has to work together to get things done, a friendly idea, east meets west type of thing. But yeah, they had the big old Godzilla fight. They destroyed most of Tokyo with that, and then they had to fight the other robot thingy. And both of them ended up defeating it. Kong ripped his head off, and Godzilla did something else to it, and they worked together to get it done. And looked like Godzilla was defeated, and then he gave Kong the power to power up his axe, and they tore apart the metal thing, and it was a pretty good movie. Now, I kind of enjoyed this movie. It was, kind of funny, kind of great. It tapped back into the Hollow Earth sci-fi thing, and it caught my attention. Now, this is, a pretty good movie they made, and it turned out to be a really interesting movie that I definitely recommend you watch it to the end, and enjoy it and watch it all the time. Put it in your thing, because the original King Kong versus Godzilla was come from the 1962, and they didn't do a Hollow Earth in that one, if I remember right. I'll have to go find it and watch it for sure, but they didn't do it in that one. And now I enjoyed this one quite a bit. So now let's see what we got for what they spent and who released it and all that fun stuff on there. And you noticed I changed the format on my video pages. I'm no longer putting the poster up there. See if that gets more attention, or if you don't like it, you want the poster back, let me know. Because I like the background thing that I've got on there. Okay, this movie was distributed by, Warner Brother Pictures worldwide. It went to Taiwan, Tokyo, Japan, and the United States all at one shot. Look at that. They released it, the United States was released March 31st, 2021, and released internationally March 24th, 2021. It ran 113 minutes, which is, pretty good for average. Oh, come on, you stupid computer, work. There you go. Now you want to work too much. Okay, then we got, it was released in the United States. It was made in the United States. English is the language it was done in. It had some oddities in it, that's for sure. They spent $155 million to $200 million, and they made $470 million at the at the box office. Wow! So they did all right. They doubled their money, figuring, and doubled their money in a little bit, figuring that they spent $200 million on it, because they didn't really tell us how much exactly. It was somewhere in the range of 155 to 200 million. So they don't know what happened to the other little bit right there. But it turned out to be a pretty good, like I say, pretty good movie. And, I liked it. And there are some twists and turns in there that you got to watch the movie to find out for yourself. But that's up to you. You got to watch the movie or not. You got to tell me if you liked it down in the comments. Because, we're changing the system and see what happens. And I've got to find an old movie somebody commented on. I'll get it soon. I'll talk to you later. Bye now. Take care, be safe, and thanks for watching.
Lights came up, my jaw just dropped. Wait, did that just happen? Happen. Rewind that logic. Hit the brakes. For goodness gracious sakes. What did I just watch? What did I just watch? Let me break it down for you. Click that link for the review. Lights came up, my jaw just dropped. Wait, did that just happen? Happen. Rewind that logic. Hit the brakes. For goodness gracious sakes. What did I just watch? What did I just watch? Let me break it down for you. Click that link for the